I'm Marie from Humblebee and Me, and today I am sharing another literary inspired formulation. So this lovely pink emulsion is Phryne's Milk of Roses. So this formulation was inspired by Carrie Greenwood's Miss Phryne Fisher Mysteries. So there's about 20 of these books now, and they've also been made into a mini-series, which I streamed on Amazon Prime. That's really quite fun. And Miss Fisher is she is so dang cool. She solves mysteries. She has the awesomest 1920s outfits, drinks what sound like the most fabulous and refreshing cocktails, has lovely friends and fantastic adventures, and just, you know, I wish I was her friend. The author, Carrie Greenwood, does a great job of describing many elements of Phryne's life, from, you know, the decor of her boudoir to her clothes and her cocktails, and she also talks about her skincare products. One of the skincare products she mentions that caught my interest was something called Milk of Roses. I did a bit of Googling and found a Regency era Milk of Roses sort of recipe. It was mostly a combination of rose water, sweet almond oil, and something called oil of tartar, which as far as I can figure is a very basic solution, so it would create a sort of soap style emulsion. It's kind of neat. Taking some inspiration from that ingredient list, this formulation features a beautiful rose hydrosol from Plants Power, which was gifted and just has this gorgeous rosy, round, juicy, it's perfect for this formulation. And then of course some sweet almond oil. I opted to use a more modern emulsifier, so this one is using Glyceryl Stearate and PEG 100 Stearate. And the beautiful thing about this emulsifier is it allows me to have quite a large oil phase to create quite a rich feeling product, but it's still quite thin. You can see I've put it in a pump top bottle here, and we just get this lovely little easy pump, easy spread of the product. I did experiment with making versions of this emulsion that were even thinner, even more sort of milk-like, but I did find that with that dramatically reduced viscosity, we also had dramatically reduced stability, and it did end up splitting after a day or so. And a few other sort of Phryne-like nods, things that I sort of thought suited the character. You will find some hydrolyzed silk in this, because Phryne is all about her like premium fabrics, and I've also included a small amount of a soft pink mica. Carrie Greenwood often talks about, you know, Phryne's beautiful complexion, and I thought that just a little bit of just a soft pink shimmer would be very much in keeping with something that Phryne would enjoy. Making wise, pulling this emulsion together is pretty much just like any lotion. As always, please make sure you are reading the full partner blog post for more information about substitutions, scaling, shelf life, where to purchase the ingredients. You can also look all the ingredients up in the Humblebee and Me encyclopedia to learn, like, why is that there and what job is that doing, and, you know, what could I use instead? There's just tons of great information there, so that is linked in the description box below as always. But yeah, come on, let's get started. We'll begin by combining the ingredients for our heated water phase in a small beaker. So in this beaker, I already have 24.3 grams of distilled water. To that, I'm going to add 40 grams rose hydrosol. This is a lovely rose hydrosol from Plants Power. It was a gift, and it's got a really lovely, round, full, rich scent that I thought was perfect for this formula. You'll need 3 grams vegetable glycerin and 2 grams hydrolyzed silk. Now, when you are choosing your hydrolyzed silk, please smell it. Some of them smell significantly worse than others, and if yours smells absolutely disgusting, don't use 2% of it. You won't like the end result. You might choose a different hydrolyzed protein instead, like oat or rice or baobab, something that, yeah, doesn't smell bad, because yeah, if you hate the smell of your silk, hydrolyzed silk in the dry bag, you're not gonna enjoy it in the final product either. And then up next, we're going to wear a heated oil phase into a beaker. And so I've chosen a beaker that will accommodate the head of my immersion blender here. And I'm using a beaker rather than my more sort of common Pyrex measuring cup, because this one's got taller sides. And this is quite a thin emulsion, especially when we first start blending it, and so this helps reduce splatter. So you'll need 3 grams of Glyceryl Stearate and PEG 100 Stearate, and it absolutely has to be this emulsifier, absolutely 100% must be this exact emulsifier. For more details, please read the blog post. 20% sweet almond oil. For substitutions, please read the blog post. There are quite a few things that you could use instead. 2 grams cetyl alcohol and 0.3 grams hydroxyethylcellulose. So before we start heating things through, we're just going to weigh the water phase and note that weight. This will allow us to replace any water lost to evaporation during heating. And then to heat everything through, we're going to use a water bath. So this is a wide flat bottom sauté pan that has about 1 inch or 3 centimeters of water in the bottom of it. And I'm just gonna go put this on the stovetop over medium heat for about half an hour to melt everything through and bring everything to the same temperature. Once everything has heated up, you can remove your water bath from the heat. I'm going to remove the measuring cups from the water bath and top up the water phase to that weight we wrote down earlier, the bit of preheated distilled water. Give that a bit of a stir, and then we're going to grab our immersion blender. So since this is quite thin and quite hot, we really do need to take care to be quite slow at first so we don't spray product everywhere. All right, so that was about 3 minutes of blending. You do want to make sure that you are blending this quite thoroughly so that it is stable. Make sure you are using a good high shear mixer. This is not a good place to hand whisk. So you can see that this is still very thin and it is still very warm. So I'm going to leave this to cool for about 5 minutes and then come back and check on it and blend it some more. All right, it has been 5 minutes. This is starting to gain a bit of viscosity and has cooled a wee bit at least. I'm gonna give this another blending. That was about another 2 minutes of blending there, mostly at just full constant speed. Gained enough viscosity that we can do that without it spraying everywhere. So this has gained some body, but you can see it's sort of maybe the consistency of unwhipped cream, and I can feel to the touch it's still quite a bit warmer than body temperature. So we are going to set this aside to continue to cool while we weigh out our cool down phase. So the cool down phase is pretty simple. So in this dish, I've already weighed out the mica, which is 1 gram. I'm using this Aphrodite mica from Humblebee. It's kind of a soft, blushing pink color that I thought was quite well suited to this formulation. This was a gift, link in the blog post below. To that, we're going to add our preservative, 0.4 grams liquid Germall plus, and 2 grams cyclomethicone for a really lovely lightweight skin feel. If you need a substitution, please make sure you're reading the blog post and looking up this ingredient in the Humblebee and Me encyclopedia. Take that and whisk to combine and break up any clumps. Once the emulsion has cooled down so it no longer feels warm to the touch, we can incorporate the cool down phase. So to do that, I'm going to begin by pouring some of it into the little dish with our cool down phase. Then I'm going to whisk to combine. And then we'll transfer this into the parent batch and stir everything together. And with that done, it is time to package up this lovely milk of roses. So for packaging, I'm going to use this airless pump bottle from Humblebee. This was a gift. So it's got a small sort of treatment pump style cap to it, and yeah, holds 100 milliliters. You don't need much headroom with an airless pump bottle, but you do need some to fit the pumping mechanism in. So I think I've overshot it a little. A few drops back in the beaker. I think that should be good. Hi. Excellent. For a little bit of a demo of the finished milk of roses. So this is when it's very fresh. You can see it is still quite light and thin. It will thicken up a wee bit over the coming days though. So here is an earlier version. So this one is about a week old at this point in time. So you can see you get a little bit of a dollop on the hand, whereas this one is going to be sort of noticeably runnier to start, but it will thicken up to something a bit more like that as time goes on. I did experiment with even thinner versions, but found that stability was a challenge, so opted for something with a bit more viscosity so that we didn't have to worry about it splitting as much. For a label, I've got a little custom one that I had printed out from Sticker Mule. I've been quite happy with these. I'll throw my Refer a Friend link in the description box below if you want to check them out. And there you go. So we just made Phryne's Milk of Roses, inspired by the leading lady of Miss Fisher's murder mysteries. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and please make sure you're reading the full partner blog post linked in the description box below. You'll find a lot more awesome information down there, including information on substitutions, scaling, shelf life, where to buy ingredients, and links to the books if you want to check them out. Yeah, thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.